Hello everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us here for the AAUT Awards this evening. My name's Kylie Reedman. I'm the Deputy Vice-Chancellor Education and Students at UTS, and I'm absolutely delighted to have you here. Thank you very much for coming. We were slightly delayed in starting because we were waiting for Craig Madden to come from the Land Council to welcome us to country, but unfortunately he's not well and we've only just found out. So in a very poor imitation, I would like to acknowledge that we are on Gadigal country, the lands of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, and pay my respects to elders past and present. And I know that all of you would be thinking about the connection to land, the need for voice and so on as we come up to the referendum that will be later in the year to decide on a change in constitution. And certainly we are seeing across the country a range of different levels of respect in the conversation, but I think universities are a really important place for respectful conversation to happen, and I know that you'd be continuing that at your university as well. So this evening there's a range of things that we're going to happen, celebrating some wonderful leaders in learning and teaching from across New South Wales and the ACT, and I'm glad that you've all made the time to come and gather here for this evening's presentation. There is a live stream for people who couldn't make it, and I know it's a big state and a long way to come, and as it's turned out, a wet evening as well. So thank you again for being here. I am going to introduce a video from Angela Carbone, who is the convener of the AAUT Awards nationally, to just give us a few minutes of discussion about the award history, the significance of the awards. Those of you friends who've been in learning and teaching in higher education for a long time will know that this has been celebrated, and then all kinds of things have happened, funding withdrawn, etc. But the important thing, and maybe Ange will talk about this, is the desire to acknowledge the intensive and deep commitment that people have to the quality of their teaching and the quality of the student experience. And that's never changed despite the government flavour and funding envelope. So I'll hand over to Ange, who's going to give us a recorded message.
Welcome everyone to the celebration of the 2022 state-based awards ceremony for New South Wales and the Australian Capital Territory. And thank you UTS for the invitation to open this event and for hosting this event. I'm Professor Angela Carbone, the Associate Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Learning, Teaching and Quality in the STEM College at RMIT University, and also the Director of the Australian Awards for University Teaching. It's an absolute pleasure to be with you today to celebrate and recognise excellence in university teaching. I'd like to begin today by acknowledging that this event and our participants are located on the ancestral lands of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation and the Buru Borongal people of the Darug Nation, upon whose ancestral lands our campuses now stand. I acknowledge and celebrate the knowledge and culture of Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islanders people as the traditional custodians of this land. They have been teaching about the world and country for millennia. I also acknowledge the continuing role of stewardship of culture and country that rests with Indigenous people, and pay my respects to their elders past and present. This ceremony serves as a reminder of the critical role that university educators play in shaping the future of our society, and the importance of recognising and celebrating their contributions. First, congratulations to all the award recipients today. You have shown an unwavering commitment to your students, your institution and your discipline. You've demonstrated an outstanding level of expertise and dedication to your craft, and for your efforts, they have not gone unnoticed. As the first female to receive the National Teaching Award, I understand the profound impact such recognition can have on a person's career. It is my hope that my accomplishments as an educational leader will inspire other educators to strive for high-quality teaching and learning practices that create a better society and future. These awards recognise the tireless efforts of our educators to create an inclusive, supportive and engaging learning environment where students can grow and flourish. As we celebrate today, let us not forget the immense responsibility that comes with being an educator. It's not just about imparting knowledge, but it's about shaping the minds and hearts of our students and encouraging them to reach their full potential. Teaching is a noble profession and that deserves our utmost respect and admiration. I'm confident that today's ceremony will be a memorable and meaningful occasion, not only for the award recipients, but for all of those that have contributed to the success of our education system. Once again, congratulations to our award recipients and thank you to all of our educators for their invaluable contributions to the higher education sector. Let us continue to support, inspire and learn from each other and create a brighter future for our students, our institutions and our nation. Thank you for the invitation, UTS, and enjoy the rest of your celebration.
The AAUT citations and awards are prestigious, as we've noted, and highly competitive, as you will no doubt know if you've submitted one in the past. In 2022, there were 59 citations awarded nationally, 4 program awards, 9 teaching awards and 1 career achievement award across the whole nation. Award nominations are rigorously assessed in a 3-stage peer review process. Assessors are nominated by DVCs from each university and most are previous recipients of teaching awards, and individual assessors go through a process of reviewing each application that's submitted against the criteria, and then they come together in a team to moderate their assessments and make a team recommendation for each nomination. These recommendations are reviewed by the awards committees, which are also chaired by DVCs, which confirm the award decisions. So it's not an easy process, but it is a highly reflective and engaging process, I hope, for you as successful recipients of these citations, program awards and teaching awards for excellence. I'm going to introduce now our Acting Vice-Chancellor, Professor Vicky Chen, who in her day job is our Provost as well. Vicky is going to address us and then she is going to present the awards and citations to the winners. And we haven't practiced this, so we're going to just work through a way of giving people awards on this quite small stage under this quite amazing, I should have said this, but I was thrown by the fact that our wonderful elder wasn't here. But I just also want to acknowledge the location that we're in before I ask Vicky to the stage, because it is truly incredible to be, I've never done a speech under the wing of an aeroplane before, and maybe you've never sat under one, but I certainly think it's a very, what my kids would say, Instagrammable event. So hope there's heaps for your LinkedIn and other profiles as we go through this process this evening. All right. Vicky, can I invite you to the stage? Thank you so much.
Thank you, Kylie. And before we begin, I'd like to also acknowledge the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation, upon whose ancestral land our campus has the privilege of standing. I would like to pay my respects to elders, both past and present, acknowledging them as the traditional custodians of knowledge for this land. I'd like to welcome you to UTS on behalf of all New South Wales and ACC Vice-Chancellors, many of which have been here but could not attend due to what is a very busy time for the sector, many of them in transit overseas. I would like to pass on the apologies of the UTS Vice-Chancellor and President Andrew Parfitt, who's currently overseas visiting our alumni community. It's wonderful to be here to celebrate the transformative power of our New South Wales and ACT educators. And as you just seen from the video, the Australian Awards for University Teaching were established in 1997 by the Australian government to celebrate and reward excellence in university teaching. And I would like to recognise the Universities Australia, who have sponsored this award since 2018 and do a fantastic job of advocating for the Australian higher education and research. Now, the Australian Awards for University Teaching provide an important platform to recognise the excellence and innovation of Australian university teaching and services. Being educators, we know the enormous contribution that learning and teaching community makes, not only for higher education institutions and students, but to broader society. And as I've said to my colleagues across many universities, our greatest legacy is not just as universities, not just knowledge creation, but the legacy of our students. Through your innovative approach to teaching, students are supported and empowered and ready to tackle the careers of the future. And of course, we've all felt the challenges of the last few years. We've had to pivot much of our teaching and learning online, adapt to new technologies, and ensure that our students still receive a quality student experience while not on campus. There's also now a sector-wide conversation about generative AI and other future technology that we haven't even yet imagined, and the opportunities and risks that present to our teaching and learning. The individuals we celebrate tonight span multiple disciplines and include academic and professional staff. Very much today, much of a team endeavor. And our award winners have created programs that support retention for diverse student groups, encourage development of bilingual and intercultural competencies, and provided language supports for students. The citations address themes such as resilience, authentic skills-making learning, student-centered and learning experiences, student engagement, and the community and problem-solving programs that work to develop empathy and social justice mindset in students. The work of these individuals and teams helps ensure that students enter the workforce with the skills and attributes they need to be successful. And once again, thank you everybody who has supported and guided our mentors, our students this year. And I'm pleased that we can celebrate with you and your work tonight. Thank you.
So our first citation recipient is Dr. Joel Fuller, and he receives the citation for excellence in inspiring and supporting postgraduate physiotherapy students using innovative teaching approaches and authentic student-centred learning experiences. Let's welcome Joel up to the stage. I think for workplace health and safety, you have to come up the back steps or not. The second recipient, also from Macquarie University, Dr. John Turcini, focusing the lens on pathology medical education, getting to the diagnosis through integration, team-based gameplay, clinical scenario generation, and delight. John. Congratulations. Moving on to the University of Newcastle. Unfortunately, we have a couple of people who can't attend tonight. So these citations are going to be received by their Deputy Vice-Chancellor Academic, Mark Hoffman. So I'll read them out first and then Mark, you can come, I'll read them both and then you can come up and receive them both. Is that okay? Instead of coming up on and off, we don't want to do that. So the first recipient of a citation from the University of Newcastle is Dr. Marie Hadley, who receives the award for enabling law students to bridge the gap between knowing the law and expressing that knowledge effectively through creative resources and an innovative curricular justice model. So let's clap because Marie may well be watching online. And the second recipient is Dr. Meredith Taverner for creative contributions to student learning in health that embed qualitative research-integrated culture into curriculum design through authenticity of teaching and meaningful resources. Well done to both of those recipients. Thank you, Mark. Next to the University of New England. First, Dr. Christy O'Neill for Health and Physical Education, HPE, curriculum development that builds initial teacher education, student engagement in online learning. Next, from the University of New England, Associate Professor Stuart Walk, for improving graduate clinical competence, development, implementation and quality improvement of a new medical degree across the University of New England and the University of Newcastle. Stuart. The next recipient of a citation from the University of New England is Dr. Supawadi Moss for successfully transforming theoretically based auditing subjects that re-engage students through storytelling and authentic practice. Moving on now to the University of Sydney. Ms. Karina Radescu for developing a scalable, co-designed, interdisciplinary curriculum to foster students' problem-solving skills using complex, authentic learning scenarios. Karina. The next recipient is Ms. Frances Barraclough, who's unfortunately not here, and if you're online, Frances, congratulations. And Professor Lisa Sargent is going to accept this on behalf of Frances. And the citation is Preparing Our Future Healthcare Workforce to Deliver Integrated, Person-Centred Care, a New Model of Training. Moving on now to the University of Technology, Sydney. Event Creation Lab, this is a team award, and for Professor Carmel Foley and Miss Meg Hibbins to be accepted by Meg. The citation is an innovative subject that inspires students, engaging them in developing professional capabilities for transitioning to employment and contributing to social justice. Congratulations. This is where we're going to test the stage. A team award, a team citation to the Virtual Empathy Museum. There's quite a few recipients, so I want to make sure I call them all out. I'm not sure if they're all coming up to accept. Dr. Jackie Pick, Professor Tracy Levitt-Jones, Miss Natalie Govind, Dr. Samantha Jamakowitz, Dr. Fiona Orr, Miss Sue Dean, Professor Michelle Kelly and Professor Jane Maguire. Only 3 of them are coming onto the stage. While they're coming up, it's my pleasure to tell you that they received this award, and the title again, Virtual Empathy Museum, for developing healthcare students' empathy skills. How important. Right. Next, from the University of Wollongong, Dr. Emma Heffernan. The citation is Creating Real-World Connections to Engage, Motivate and Inspire Students in Architectural Engineering as Future Leaders in Sustainable Built Environment. Next, Dr. Nolene Weatherby-Fell, for building pre-service teachers' resilience through inspiring practices that equip them to navigate their teaching journey and achieve high-quality outcomes as effective and reflective practitioners. To the University of New South Wales, Associate Professor Ange Liu, to be accepted by Merlin Crosby, the DVCA. Ange is unable to attend, and hello if you're online. For creating learning opportunities and personalised experiences for engineering students to collaboratively learn and practice engineering design through research-informed approaches. Thank you. Next, Associate Professor Michael Kasimovic, for developing innovative and inclusive digital learning strategies that promote authentic skill-based learning in science courses to improve critical and analytical thinking.
Woo!
Yay!
Yeah!
Well done.
Thank you,
Congratulations.
thank you.
That's the way.
Celebrate.
I know everyone else who's received a citation is feeling that on the inside, right? Thank you for bringing it out. You've shaken us up, and I think that's great. Next, Western Sydney University, for the Mathematics Education Support Hub, and there is a group, so I'm not sure how many people will come up, but come on, you can come on up as I read it out, it's absolutely fine. Associate Professor Leanne Rylands, Ms Lynn Armstrong, Ms Adele Colburn, Dr Merrin Horrocks, Dr Gisem Intepi, Ms Susan McGlynn, Dr Jim Pettigrew and Mr Don Shearman. The citation is for integrated, institution-wide delivery of mathematics, statistics and numeracy support for supporting staff to assist their students and for learning and teaching scholarship. I'll get out of their way. Thank you. Next, also from Western Sydney University, Mrs Nikki Meller. The citation is Designing for Synergy, Embedded Resources and Partnership Pedagogy Enhancing Nursing and Midwifery Students' Transition to Graduate Employment. And Professor Simon Bedford, the PVC Education, is going to collect it on her behalf.
Indeed.
Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, I almost dropped it.
As I was reading out those citations, it just reminded me of the agony of getting those words right, that I'm sure that all of the recipients can relate to. How carefully every single word that goes into a citation application is thought through and reworked and reflected on. And so even for the work of doing it, let alone the work of impacting on students so positively, can you please join me in congratulating all of our citation winners once more? All right, moving on now. To the awards for programs that enhance learning. And I think I said before, there was only 9 programs, just checking back, 9 programs nationally, maybe fewer than that actually. Only 4 program awards nationally. So that's pretty exciting, and 9 teaching awards. So let's think about that. There's 2 in this category, which is why I'm raising it with you. First one is in the category of student experience that supports diverse and inclusive practices. And the title is the Embedding English Language Team from the University of Technology, Sydney. The team members are Dr. Rosalie Goldsmith, Associate Professor Caroline Havery, Mr. Neil James, Dr. Emily Edwards, Dr. Deborah Nixon, and Mr. Joseph Yeo. And as they come up, Rosalie is actually going to present on behalf of the team. So I'm sure for all of the citations you were thinking, I'd love to know more about that. But for the program awards and for the teaching awards, we actually are going to have the opportunity to hear from the recipients about their program. So can I ask the team, the recipients to come up, and then Rosalie will present.
Squeeze in.
Thank you. Can I say that the photos of us that are on the slide, or were on the slide, were all taken when we were in lockdown, and they're all selfies. And we have made jokes about the Addams family when we saw them. So thank you. We're really pleased to be recognised for this award. In 2018, the Academic Language and Learning team was presented with a problem. We were asked to develop a whole-of-institution approach to support students whose academic language levels were not meeting the expectations required for university study. So our solution was to design, implement and evaluate the Embedding English Language program with the backing and the funding, thank heavens, from the Deputy Vice-Chancellor, Education and Students. It has 4 stages and each stage has a different impact. So the first stage, we screen all commencing students for academic language using the online post-enrolment assessment tool called OPELA. And you can see from the slide that the number of students who get screened overall. The second stage is where we work with faculties and we provide subject-specific support in the form of academic language development tutorials for those students who have been identified as needing additional support. In stages 3 and 4, we track all students' academic language through existing subject assessment tasks, which are referred to as milestone tasks. And so you can see on the slide the number of students that are impacted. Since we commenced the program in autumn 2019, we've screened more than 49,000 commencing students using the OPELA task. We've directed almost 7,000 students to our subject-specific language development tutorials. And we've offered further follow-up language support to over 3,500 students whose academic language is still at risk after those first few stages. The Embedding English Language program, which is fondly known as the EAGLE program, has become widely recognised as good practice to support students' academic language and learning. It has had significant impact on students' learning, as you can see from the quote on the slide, and it's also had an impact on the teaching practices of our disciplinary colleagues around the disciplinary and professional practices of communication that are required for all students. We'd like to send special thanks to the former Deputy Vice-Chancellor Education and Students, Shirley Alexander. We'd like to thank our Director, Jan McLean, Joe McKenzie for services above and beyond, Kylie Reedman, our current Deputy Vice-Chancellor Education and Students, and we'd also like to extend thanks to the support and ongoing cooperation of the UTS staff. This huge endeavour could not be done without support from our colleagues in IT, in the Learning Experience Lab, and in the Student Services. It truly is a whole of institution approach. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Rosalie. It's great to be able to have that insight. The next award for programs that enhance learning is the Student Experience that Supports Diversity and Inclusive Practices category. And the title of the program is Retention at Charles Sturt and the University, surprise, Charles Sturt University. The team members are Dr. Kelly Linden, Mr. Neil van der Plog, Dr. Noella Roman, Dr. Sarah Teakle and Mr. Ben Hicks. Can I invite them to the stage, please? While they're assembling, I'd like to let them tell you what it's all about, actually. There's a little description here, but I think that they'll do it much better than I.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Up forward.
Yep, all right, let's go. Thank you. So from humble beginnings as a small pilot project in the Faculty of Science, over the last 7 years, the Charles Sturt Retention Team has developed, evaluated and refined a novel whole-of-institution retention framework that supports students transitioning to university. We begin the semester by identifying approximately 100 key subjects with a high proportion of commencing students. We then identify the staff who will be teaching those subjects and invite them to participate in our professional development series, Teaching First. Teaching First models best practice first-year teaching with a series of synchronous and asynchronous activities, and importantly, sessional staff are paid to attend. We then monitor student engagement through the first 4 weeks of semester through a mixture of learning analytics and a submission of assessment items. The day after an assessment item is due, we identify a list of disengaged students and we share that list with the subject coordinator through a customised form that we've developed that allows the subject coordinator to add or remove students and add important contextual information at the student and the subject level. This information is then shared with the student outreach team, who contact approximately 1,500 students each semester and have meaningful conversations based on their engagement. We continue to monitor all the students' engagement up until the census date, and if a student remains completely disengaged, they are emailed personalised enrolment options, and to remain enrolled must submit a small task. This work has significantly reduced the number of students receiving a 0 fail grade and has had a very positive improvement on student retention. The third, and in some ways most crucial component of the Embedded Tutors is the Embedded Tutors program. Embedded Tutors are sessional staff with experience teaching in a subject and are provided with training to ensure consistency and quality of advice. Online bookings, students can make online bookings seamlessly through the subject LMS, and in the lead up to an appointment, the students submit their draft assessment through Turnitin. They then meet with a tutor who provides subject-specific advice and feedback on the draft assessment, and can also provide early advice on any academic integrity issues that have been flagged through Turnitin, including AI. Assessment marks and subject grades have increased by approximately 10 to 15% for students who meet with a tutor. Appointments are available for all students, but we continue to monitor student engagement through the whole session, and if a student fails an assessment, They're provided with prioritised access to a tutor, and those students with prioritised access, if they meet with a tutor, their average grade is a pass, compared to those students who are identified as at risk and don't meet with a tutor, whose average grade is a fail. With almost 5,000 appointments last year, the program is highly utilised and receives incredibly positive feedback from students, tutors, subject coordinators, and also from our DVCA and our PVC Learning and Teaching. Awesome, thank you. Oh, I've got someone else's speech.
All right, we're moving on now to the 2022 Award for Teaching Excellence category. In the category of Society, from the University of Wollongong, Associate Professor Xiaoping Gao. Come on up. I have no doubt that our Associate Professor Gao is about to tell you all about her amazing and innovative work, her enthusiasm as a teacher of languages and culture, with over 25 years of commitment to teaching excellence. So I'm going to let you take the stage, and congratulations. This is a very difficult award to win. Only one person in this category across the whole country wins this, and so it's a real achievement. Congratulations.
I'm deeply honoured to stand before you tonight sharing some key aspects of my teaching. Firstly, please allow me to express my sincere Please allow me to express my gratitude to Professor Jo Mackenzie for her kind invitation. Please allow me to extend my appreciation to those who supported me in this process. Professor Theo Farrell, Dr. Corner West, and other colleagues from LTC, and Professor Fazil Nagdi, Professor Matt Bauer, anonymous assessment panel members, my dedicated colleagues, inspiring students, and my supportive family. This award is not just a recognition of my individual efforts, but a testament to everyone who tirelessly champions the cause of multilingualism and intercultural communication. It's a tribute to the power of engaging of diverse communities and cultures. Upon receiving Professor Mackenzie's invitation, I immediately thought of this diagram. This diagram visualizes my multidimensional model that has guided my teaching practices, innovations, assessments, research, and leadership activities over the last 2 and 3 decades also. My teaching journey started with teaching Chinese as a second language at universities in China, where Mandarin was my sole working language. After moving to New Zealand 22 years ago and joining the University of Wollongong 11 years ago, I have become a student again, a lifelong learner of English. My student cohorts expanded to Chinese international students eager to improve their English communication skills and intercultural competencies. My teaching and learning experiences and my research confirmed that second language learning transcends classroom-focused, classroom-based instruction, but instead thrives on authentic communication through real-world context, through collaborative learning, and a deep integration with target language communities. Inspired by social cultural theory, assertion that cognitive growth is supported by 2 key elements: more knowledgeable others and artifacts. I have expanded the pool of knowledgeable others from teachers to peers to more professional, proficient L2 learners, from native speakers in in local communities, to international students, to professional teachers overseas. Through my innovative pedagogies, community building, and internalization programs, I've created cutting-edge curriculum, resources, and assessment through advanced technologies and tools. These initiatives have notably supported improved student learning and inspired others through my leadership in the field. However, I'm truly aware that the journey to refine this model is never ending. Now I realize it is the joy of teaching, isn't it? Thank you very much for listening. Enjoy this incredible evening.
Thank you so much, Xiaoping, especially for that last sentence, the joy of teaching. I think that's something that we all share. So that brings us to the conclusion of congratulating our award winners. I would like to just do a couple of little notes, if that's okay, and thanks, because we don't find ourselves under the wing of an aeroplane without some effort. I will let you know that our wonderful photographer will be taking photos, and there's an opportunity here for us to get into university groups and make sure that we have those professional photographs all sorted out once the official proceedings are concluded. So I would like to thank the AAUT for the work and the contribution to the sector by keeping these awards alive and making sure that they are held in the esteem that they have always been held in. I think you can see from the diversity of the citations, programs and awards that have been recognised tonight that we have a real richness across our sector, and in every state across Australia, these kinds of awards programs are going on, and award ceremonies are going on to recognise that diversity and that strength. I'd like to thank the Powerhouse Museum for the venue and for assistance with the event. The events team, Julie Macalona, Nat Fay, Janet Wang and Scott Britcher and Gabrielle Gardner, who've done a brilliant job in getting us all here tonight. I'd like to thank the awards and recipient winners and their guests of the award and citation recipients for their support tonight and always, because these things, as you rightly pointed out, never happen on their own. It's not an individual. I'd like to thank the Vice-Chancellors, DVCs, PVCs, Deans and Directors who support the learning and teaching teams, and the institutional contact officers from each university for their support for the awards. Before we go, I'd also like to mention Jo McKenzie, who has supported reward and recognition at UTS and across the sector. I first met her, I don't know, Jo, 15 or maybe 20 years ago, and her commitment to recognising and supporting others to be recognised has been unwavering, and I think that's a really important contribution to the sector as well as to UTS, so thank you for doing that. I would like to also thank Vicky for being here as our Acting Vice-Chancellor to present the awards and citations. I'm going to conclude the official formalities now and invite everyone to continue celebrating. There are more canapes, as I understand it, and then the bar will reopen. I can see them over there ready to give you a second glass of wine or maybe a first one. And it's just a chance to meet, mingle, now that you've been introduced to our wonderful award winners, to ask them any questions you have. And again, thank you so much for being here tonight. It's been wonderful to be able to host this event. Thank you.